Okay, so we're in our 2006 JCW GP. This is the Mini Cooper that drove around the world and won the 2008 Mini Challenge. And we're going to get into that in just a second. Let me start this up. All right, get the AC going. All right, now what I'm going to show you before we start driving is we put together a binder, and this is a documentation of the entire trip. And the first section, there's a DVD, video documentary of the trip, and this is the first Mini that ever entered this and won. I think they went around the world in less than a month. This is an original article that we found, which I don't think you can get anymore, but we got a nice copy of it, of the guys, the driver and the guys who were with him doing the video shooting and all this other stuff. And we did a lot of research to find out a lot of cool things about the trip. So they're divided into sections. We have an introduction section, and got some interesting information. I gotta see if I can find it. The next tab is the preparation section. There's a section of pictures taken all during the trip in different countries. And let's see, then we have, let's see, got invoices, upgrades that were done to the car. And let's see what else we got here. There is a section of the company that did all the decal work for the car. And they're still in business, they're still there if you wanted to replace any of the original decals. I didn't do it because I wanted to keep it as original as possible as it went around the world. Yeah, here's the decal section. All the money invested in that, and all the decals that were done to the car originally. When you watch the video, you'll notice that the seats in the car are different because they were sponsored. So it had Sparco seats in it. And then during the trip, you'll notice that the tires are different, the tires and the rims. They were changed because of the, you know, the kind of places where they didn't have any roads. There was a skid plate placed underneath the car, mud flaps, a screen in the engine, you know, to protect the engine. And it's a very interesting piece of history. And then at the end we have maps. We have a some pages of GP owners in different parts of the country during the trip. So there's a lot of decals on the car. And you know, when the guy arrived in a different country, he went to the mini clubs and they put their decals on the car. So you've got some decals from different countries on there. I'll do a walk around on the car also, and you can see that. But if you watch the documentary, it's an interesting feeling to get in the car and know that you're driving, you know, a little piece of history. Now, cosmetically, the decals, of course, don't look that great. When the race was over, the original seats were put back in the car, and the roll bar was taken out. New rims and new tires were put on the car. It actually has 30,000 original miles, clean Carfax, and we're going to take it for a little ride. So cosmetically, you could always improve it if you wanted to. I didn't want to touch it because that's the way it was. So now we're going to go for a little ride. The car drives amazingly. I had it serviced. When I bought it, this was a one-owner car until I got it. I had the car serviced, did the oil change. There was a power steering leak that they found, and they replaced the hoses, which was $1,000. I guess it took a while to get to the hoses. Stereo works, although that station didn't tune in too good. The guy who had the car, he had a radar detector put in the car. So this little light up here was taken out, and it was hot wired. So you can hook up a radar detector up here, and you can plug that in. Here's the power for it. Put in a little cup holder. I don't know if that originally came with the car. Map light. So we'll put that down. The car's got heated seats, electric mirrors, heated seats. I don't really know all the options, but everything works fine. The car is a blast to drive. It shows, you know, your battery, your boost pressure, and all that. There was a couple of gauges. It looks like they were added. They're down here, and it's another. It's a voltage thing and an oil pressure gauge. The oil pressure gauge, it's running about, I don't know, maybe 60, 70 right now. But when the car warms up, and we'll show you that when the car warms up and you drive it for a while, the oil pressure goes up. I asked the Mini dealer about that because in some cars the oil pressure just kind of moves back and forth when you step on the gas. This gauge doesn't work that way. The Mini dealer checked everything, said everything's fine. He didn't understand exactly what the gauge thing was all about, but he said, you know, if the oil light goes on, then bring it in. But there's nothing like the sound of a supercharger in these old Minis. It's just a awesome car. When you have the windows open in first gear, you can hear the little backfiring happening in the back. Car shifts beautifully. Let's see, we're going to pick up dinner, so we're doing our little driving video. What I like about this car is when you shift it, it's a 6-speed. When you shift it, it feels like you're really doing it. You know, you have to really push it back and forth. On a lot of new cars, they have the quick shifts, but it doesn't really feel like you're shifting. You know, the quick shifts, you know, they just kind of click, you know, when you pull them back and forth. But you can hear how smooth the engine is on this thing. I've got it in 4th gear. I'm not going to need to go in 5th. And we're doing almost 70 in 4th gear. The tachometer shows about 4,000 RPMs. And I think I missed our street, didn't I? So I got to turn around. Okay. Anyway, mechanically, it's a beautiful car. Like I said, it's mostly cosmetic as far as the outside. The roof was repainted after the trip because the guy had a luggage rack on the top. There's a tent in the back, and I just left it there because it's part of the trip. So it's interesting to drive a piece of history, and it's a Mini that accomplished this. I was thinking of calling Mini corporate and telling them about it. Might be an interesting promotional piece, but I never got around to it. And I need to sell it because we don't have a lot of room, and I kind of hurt my neck doing something, and this car has a stiffer suspension than most. But it's just so much fun to just drive a stick shift again. So it's a pretty neat little car. So other than that, like I said, everything works on the car mechanically. It's in perfect shape. It's got a little visor on the side here, which is interesting. And then it's got the 2 visors up here. And the glove compartment is huge. I'm not going to open it up right now, but it's actually huge. And I have a little cap that I bought for the cigarette lighter. I'm going to put it in there when we sell it. And I think that's about it. I'm going to drive it just a little bit more as soon as this light changes, so you can hear how smooth the engine is. Boost pressure right now is below 0, but see if I step on it, you could even hear it backfiring a little bit. We have the windows up. And it's pretty much about it. They imported about 400 of these to the United States. And this is they made 2,000 worldwide. And this is number 1922 of 2000. And, 30,000 original miles. It's just such a blast to drive. It's hard to believe it's a 2006. But it's quite a conversation piece. When you drive places, it attracts a lot of attention. People want to know why those special decals are, what the challenge was all about, that kind of thing. So it's a nice conversation starter. But other than that, it's in really good shape. The seats are a little bit worn. I'm going to include some pictures of that. And let's see, we already went over heated seats. Oh, we got to get going. Okay. That's about it. We'll take, if you can see that oil pressure gauge down there, you'll see that it's up to where it should be. It just kind of moves a little slow as the engine starts to warm up, and I'm not a mechanic, but the Mini place said the car is running beautifully, so we're not going to mess with that. And we did change the oil and all that. Okay. So I guess that's about it. We'll post this up, and if anybody has any questions, just let me know, and we'll kind of go from there. Thanks.